Hi, and welcome to the Alexandra Wenman Show. Um, just before we've started recording, we've been indulging in a little bit of hysteria. My guest today is my dear friend YogiGems, and we started recording, and it seems that as I was talking about her being completely aligned to the yogic philosophy and eating it, sleeping it, and breathing it, we suddenly descended into a bit of spontaneous laughter yoga, and I couldn't stop. So, excuse me if I erupt into fits of giggles tonight, but clearly, this is the magic that this woman is going to be bringing to Alchymystic. Oh gosh, and I mean, how how often? I mean, this is something that you and I do, isn't it, Jem? Whenever we get together, we do laugh our socks off. So this is not unusual.
Definitely true, and it is the best medicine. Although my cheeks are hurting, my head is hurting from too much laughter. So, yeah, laughter yoga workout.
We're hoping to do a lot of laughing at the event. But
Yes.
right, for tonight, I have to say, I think I really needed this. This feels like a really big release. As we record this, I think we're on the big full supermoon tonight, aren't we? And this is, the word lunacy does come from full moons, and I think I'm just turning into a bit of a laughing lunatic tonight. And I think it's just so infectious. It was brilliant. It was absolutely
Brilliant.
brilliant. I had a whole different introduction prepared. But now that you have met Gemma, I will say that she is fantastic. She is a Kundalini yoga teacher. She does walk her talk, and she does eat, sleep, and breathe all things yogic and the yogic philosophy and that way of life. And so inspired, aren't you, honey? We're like East and West, you and I, in a weird way, aren't we? Can you, just for our viewers, some people might have seen my previous interviews with you, but that was quite a long time ago now, right in the beginning of when I started the channel. So it's so great to have you back, and I'm ready to hear more about your journey, your path. But can you just recap and fill our viewers in on a little bit about how this all started for you?
So, I practice Kundalini yoga, and it's a very esoteric form of yoga. It's a lot more meditative than the Hatha yoga practices. So, it uses a lot more breath and mantra and meditation. And it's really the mantra that is my sweet spot with Kundalini Yoga. They said in the ancient yogic text, the Dattatreya Yoga Shastra, that mantra was the easiest way to enlightenment. And I really feel that. I feel like in this day and age where we all struggle with meditation and um, keeping focused and keeping on our path, mantra is something we can all do. It's very easy to do, and I can do it. And actually, probably the mantra and the music are the things that pulled me into Kundalini Yoga in the first place. I was very much on a Hatha Yoga path before I found Kundalini Yoga. Um, and I just love the way this practice and the mantra and the meditation bring you home to yourself and bring you home to your heart. So you really start to experience who you are, or well, I started to experience who I was without all of the, names and the clothes and the trappings and all of that. It's this beautiful space of expansion inside, and it's a very special and beautiful journey. And I love sharing it with everybody. So I'm very looking forward to the Glastonbury Alchymystic event.
Oh, we can't wait. I really can't wait because you've you've done so much kind of exploring and training. And I I even remember when, because Gemma and I used to work at Prediction magazine together, and we ran and published that magazine for many years together. We were a bit of a dream team back in the day, and I always remember I would go off and do this. So we had to review sessions and things, and Gemma was always going off to do the most hardcore stuff. And she always struck me as this gentle little butterfly of a human. But you would always throw yourself in the deep end. And you would go and do like 10-day Vipassanas and San Pedros and like crazy stuff. And I'd be there going, I'm the one that's like pretending I'm tougher on the outside, and actually I'll be like, no, I'm gonna go do some angelic Reiki. Not that angelic Reiki is not hardcore, but
Mhm.
not as hardcore as the stuff that you were doing. So wow, it's so wonderful that you found your niche. Well, you found your niche in more ways than one, and you're now literally just riding the curve of that. It's beautiful.
Yes, and I have to say, Al, with the whole hardcore approach to whatever it was I was going for, um, it was definitely a part of the journey. And I feel like we all choose different things. You know, for some of us, we don't need hardcore 10-day vipassanas and, 40-day meditations and fasts and things like that. Um, but we all just kind of find our way through. They're all uh, beautiful experiences on the path, and wherever we end up, we end up. And yeah, it's whatever's right for us at the time, isn't it?
It is absolutely, and that's kind of why we've brought together all these teachers. I think we kind of wanted to have a bit of a mixed bag so that there was something for everybody, and everyone will get a little taster of what everyone's offering, and it's all different levels as well. I think whether people are really heavily into their spiritual journey or just at the beginning, there's going to be a place for everybody there, and it's all about coming together and sharing and loving and growing together from the heart, and just having a bit of a love in it's a community where we would like to create as well, a bit of that community vibe, reconnecting and opening a huge big portal of love and fun and joy, and there's going to be a lot of joy there. I think
I
that's
mean,
the
I've
aim.
been reading about all the space holders and the teachers that you're bringing together for Alchemistic, and I'm so awed by the wisdom that we've got all in one space and this beautiful heart-centered energy that we've got all in one space. I think it's going to be a very precious alchemy. You've got to be there to experience it. It's a very kind of precious um, synergy that we'll be creating with the participants and with the space holders and the teachers and the people that you're bringing together to kind of hold it all. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm really honored and excited about it. It's going to be amazing.
I can't wait. So on that note, can you tell us a little bit about what you have planned for your session?
Yes. So my thing is mantra meditation. There is nothing more transformative than mantra. I mean, just saying happy birthday and bing, the energy is lifted. It is so effective in raising the frequency and switching you out of mental patterns. So I'm going to be bringing some very sacred mantras, some of my very favorite mantras, and we're going to be practicing them with meditations, tantric meditations, very powerful and deep to go into the subconscious mind. So the mantras are taking us on a journey into the subconscious. We're digging around for things that might not serve us anymore and just kind of switching out of those old patterns. Um, it's a very short, very powerful experience that I'm going to be sharing. And it's, again, I think within the context of alchemistic and with the processes that are going on around, with all the people going on around, and with the special participants who are coming, everyone who's coming is, I think, going to be very special, very part of this dynamic.
Totally guided, I think. It's one of those things that if you kind of just get a knowing if you need to be there or not. And
That's
I
it.
think it will be one of those that where people are called.
Yes, I don't often do these things because it's traveling and but when you opened it up to me, the feeling was like, yes, this is an incredible space, an incredible project to be part of. So yes, come and let's create magic and alchemy together. It's going to be incredible.
Oh, I love you. I can't wait. Oh, so excited. I never wish summer away, but I'm like, roll on November.
True that.
I know.
Yes.
And it's over Guy Fawkes weekend too. So I realized, oh my God, imagine seeing the fireworks at the end of it. We're going to create fireworks within, and then we go create
Yes,
fireworks without. How fantastic.
yes, very synchronistic.
It's very synchronistic. Well, I'd love also for you to tell our viewers a little bit about how you work. So what's your day to day like? What sorts of offerings do you have?
Well, I mean, I teach Kundalini Yoga, that's my thing. And I practice it, as Al said, I eat, sleep, and breathe it. Um, and that's very much what I do. I'm about making the world a better place. That sounds quite trite, but I really do mean it. I want to serve with this technology and with the mantras, with the meditations. I want to help people shift and transform and become the best version of themselves that they can possibly be. The world is in so much chaos, and we all kind of need a rock to hold us. And for me, it's Kundalini Yoga, it's the mantras, the meditations, and the practice that really hold me strong and hold me steady and hold me crystal clear. So yes, if I can share that and if I can bring people to that space, then I've done my work, and that's all I can hope to do.
Oh, I'm so and I'm so happy you're that you're doing it and you're living it and breathing it. And there's been some tragic stuff in the Kundalini community, hasn't there? There was the loss of Guru Jagat, and obviously there's other stuff in the news that's gone on that's kind of, I guess, did you find that it rattled you? Did it rattle your faith?
It has been a very difficult time for so many of us in this community and in this practice. I was very fortunate at that time to be doing a master's in yoga and meditation. So I was very much looking into the tantras, the ancient texts from the Rig Veda through the Upanishads, the tantras, and all of them. And because of what was going on in the Kundalini yoga scene with Yogi Bhajan and things like that, I turned very much towards those texts to find something that could mirror my practice to me, that was not in that kind of quite probably tainted space. So I found that, I continued with my practice, and what I was experiencing in my morning practices on the mat was what I was reading about in the tantras, and I was really coming actually to experience Kundalini as a goddess of awakening, which is
Embodied, right?
what she originally was. Yes. So I mean, it's been very challenging, and some people have not managed to find a way to correlate these, but everyone's different in their practice. Everyone chooses their own path, and whatever you can do to move forward, then
And
that's
look
how
at
you do.
that. So that is your warrioress. That's the bit of you that went and did all the hardcore
The
stuff, right?
Kundalini.
Because it's all about the reunification of the soul at the end of the day, isn't it? And I was talking to Sialanu, who's another one of our speakers recently, and we were talking about sacred union and sacred sexuality. And I think so many of these practices cross those lines, and it's all part of the oneness at the end of the day. And I do think that it doesn't really matter who your teacher was. It's about your own connection and what you create of it, because we've all done workshops and retreats where maybe the teacher's energy was a bit iffy, or it's all about discernment at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I think good on you for sticking to your passion and really, and making it your own as well. You've really made it your own. And I mean, you have other offerings as well. So you have a blog, is that right?
Yes. So I started that blog in 2013, and it was a kind of way to document my practice and to share it with other yogis who might have wanted to do these extended practices. So I'll take a kriya or a meditation and I'll practice it for 6 weeks solidly every single day. But I'm a very disciplined person, more
Major. And you
disciplined.
get up crazy early too, don't you? You're one
Yes.
of those early birds. I'm doing
Yes.
that this week, and I'm getting afternoon naps galore. It's
You can totally have those as well, Al. But the blog just it kind of offers a little window into what that 6 weeks has manifested for me in my life, at least. So I guess it's a way of inviting people into the practice and saying, this is how I experienced it. I'd love to hear how they experienced it too.
it's first. I mean, the fact that it's your first-hand experience, it's like try before you buy, really, isn't it? And you can say, this worked for me, this didn't work for me, and you're really showing that it's possible to affect change in your life for the better by employing these. Well, it is an alchemy. It is an alchemical technology, hugely, isn't it? And
Very
I mean,
much so.
it's nuts. I mean, even just being in her presence made me descend into fits of giggles. I mean, so the energy just speaks for itself. It definitely raises your vibration.
And I have to say, Al, there is a blog post about you, my dear, because I
There
think it
is.
was, yeah,
I
maybe 5 years
think
ago
it,
or
yeah,
so. Every year I go and see Al. Every year I have my little top-up session with Al, and I really value your work. You're incredible. And so yes, every year I'm there like clockwork. I've got to have my little Al session. And it sets me up for a year. It's all I need. One top up a year is all I need. It's wonderful.
I know. And I think I had a few clients come through I did have a few clients come through your blog from memory, who
Yay!
had written, and I was like, oh, that's nice. Thanks, Jim.
Oh, pleasure.
It's lovely. And you've now started your own YouTube channel as well, haven't you? That's
Yes, so
exciting.
this is a little bit out of my comfort zone. I'm a little bit of a hermit crab and quite introverted, but so many people have asked me to start teaching them, and I just don't have time. I'm booked up solidly. So I thought, as a compromise, I would put these classes out on YouTube so more people can access them. And the people who do come and say, please, can I have a class with you? I can send them here, at least until space opens up.
Mm.
But also it's a lovely way of sharing the practice, isn't it?
It's a
Especially
beautiful
when,
offering, and that is service as well, isn't it? That's a
yes,
beautiful thing to offer. And
yes,
obviously for everyone watching, I'll put all the links to where you can watch Jem's YouTube and read her blog and find all her offerings below here. But it's having done some of her classes and sort of followed her over the years and seen where she's at, my goodness, what an evolution. It's just immense, isn't it? So much has gone on.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's been
crazy.
a wild ride for both of us, I'd say, Al.
I think indeed it has. But I mean, it is, I think we've really come into our power in the embodied way. And it just goes to show that, different paths, your own path can lead you. We've always kind of been side by side on our journey, haven't we? It's been fantastic. So what does the future hold for you, Jem? What would you like to do in terms of your work and moving forward? And
I mean, I'm very happy sharing my Kundalini practice. I'm studying Sanskrit at the moment, to help me dive a little deeper into those tantras,
that
and
is very exciting. Can
very
you tell
exciting.
us more about that as a language? Like, what have you learned about it?
It is the hardest language I've ever come across. It is astonishingly hard. I am quite stunned by
Wow.
how difficult it is, but it's an incredible language, and it somehow feels, even though it's very difficult, it feels very familiar. I think because I've been involved in ancient texts for some time, just not understanding them on a conscious level. It's been a very subconscious reception. But now, with the tools to start to tap into the actual meaning of the words, it's a very rewarding and a lovely entry point into the text. It's giving me a whole new level of meaning now that I can see, oh, this word means that. And back to my own practice as well, I can recognize the words from Sanskrit too. So yes, it's very enjoyable. I'll
Amazing.
continue studying Kundalini and how she shows up in those early texts.
Mm.
Um,
What
and
what
this,
what have you discovered that from the early tech, like really delving back into the history and the mythology of it? What have you learnt that you didn't know before? Anything that was surprising to you?
yes, it's all been astonishing. It has all blown everything that I've previously taken for granted out of the water. So going back into the ancient texts, we're talking like ninth century, and Kundalini used to be the most important goddess in this one sect of Shaivism, of Tantra.
Mm.
And they called her the bent goddess. She was a kind of old bent woman. Um, and I think, she was the goddess. She was fierce and powerful. Maybe like Baba Yaga, or one of these incredibly fierce women, goddesses, deities. And through the years, she's somehow become kind of watered down and kind of sidelined. So she's really, when you come to practice Hatha Yoga, especially in the West, Kundalini doesn't even show up. She
Yeah.
used to be the reason we practiced. She's the goddess of enlightenment, the goddess of awakening. So the practices today, you only kind of maybe glimpse her in a teacher training. There's no big deal about Kundalini.
Mm.
So yeah, that was a real eye-opener, that she is a very important aspect of the practice. And everyone has a very different relationship to her. So she can be the mother, or she can be the lover, or she can be the sister, or she can be the sweetheart. It's so unique to you, and only you know what that relationship is when you start to work with her in the practice. It's extraordinary. It's very interesting.
Wow.
um
And
yeah.
for those of our viewers who aren't that familiar with Kundalini as an energy and the kinds of terminology that we would use, like Kundalini awakenings, can you give a little brief explanation of Kundalini and what it is and what happens?
Yes. So she is traditionally pictured or imagined as sleeping at the base of the spine. And through our spiritual practice, we awaken her, and she rises up through the spine and brings us into our full expression of our potential, of our awakening, of our enlightenment. And it's a very beautiful journey, and it's an incremental journey of blossoming and awakening. The chakras are aligning, and we're working slowly with it. And there's the shadow side of it, of course, where she can, and there you have a Kundalini crisis. And that is
Know what
not,
that's like?
yes.
Yeah. Yay.
So we work to kind of strengthen the nervous system and to strengthen the body in order to hold that immense wattage of Kundalini, of that goddess energy.
Mm.
Um, but yes, she's essentially the energy of your full potential. She is your enlightenment in goddess form, and she resides in the body.
When I've had, as I know you have as well, those huge Kundalini awakenings, and sometimes it can be so gentle and slow and lovely, but when you have a bam one and it just pops,
Yes.
it's blissful at the time, isn't it? It's euphoric, but then exactly what you explained, a Kundalini crisis, it's almost like, it's, to me, it's so aligned with love energy, which is power. At the end of the day, love isn't always light and fluffy. It's this force that is, it cannot be destroyed. It is unstoppable. But anything that isn't aligned to that love energy will be blasted out of your life. And I mean, you and I went through an almighty collapse of our careers at the same time when prediction collapsed. And we both had these Kundalini awakenings within that time period.
Yeah.
Any wonder we were both doing such accelerated work. We weren't just writing a magazine. We were living all of it and
Yes.
flowing with the juice of it all, and then writing the magazine. So we were on such an accelerated journey then. So yeah, it's interesting, you know, it's kind of something that I think needs the utmost respect, as with anything, but Kundalini especially, it commands such respect. And you know, you often don't, you know, if you don't really know what it is or what's happening to you, it can be downright frightening. And you know, if I didn't know a little bit about what it was that was happening to me, and you know, had a framework, and as you have a framework as well, that the methods and the techniques, I think, that you can get, that people will teach to help you tame it and integrate it, is absolutely necessary. So if anyone out there thinks that they've had a Kundalini awakening, and you know, you're going through this crisis, do seek out people like Gemma who can help navigate you through it. And I think it's really important that, you know, we do get a handle on these things and kind of learn how to tame the energy so we can use it, because it's powerful co-creation at the end of the day, isn't it? It's one of the most potent forces in the universe, and it's our divinity.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's what it's all about, isn't it? It's really about blossoming into our truth, into the full expression of our inner teacher, you know?
Yeah. And that's really the symbolism of Adam and Eve, is the serpent, you know, the tree of knowledge. It was, you know, it was shamed and hidden away from us for so long, I guess, to control the masses, or for whatever reason that they wanted to hide the knowledge and blame it all on the feminine. But it really is that sacred wisdom that is part of our own birthright to access.
Very much so.
Wow. So yeah, so it's exciting that we're going to be working with some of these energies very gently,
Very gentle.
powerfully yet gently, at Alchymystic, and giving people a taster of it through the mantra. And the one thing I've learned from mantra, from my own, I mean, haven't actually gone and studied mantra the way that you have, but through my own kind of listening to mantra, practicing with mantra, and channeling certain mantras, sounds, and tones, and working with light language and things like that, is that I feel like it actually takes the brain into a whole other level. It really takes you into a quantum level. And I know that scientists have actually done studies on this, haven't they? And it actually rewires and opens neural pathways in the brain to help you access more of your innate gifts and more knowledge and
Very
states of
much so.
bliss and peace and relaxation, doesn't it?
Very much so. So in Kundalini Yoga, they call that Laya Yoga, and it's the kind of it's the yoga of dissolution actually, where you're using the repetition of the mantra, and you're kind of hypnotizing the ego mind, and eventually the ego mind kind of drops down, and that's when you can start to reach higher states of consciousness. So it works on a very technical way, and you're using the mantra like almost like stepping stones, just to kind of hop over the ego into to get to those sweet spots
Pop
of
the ego into a trance state, you let it fall asleep, get
while
it
we go
drunk,
out for a party in the
get
higher
it drunk.
consciousness realms.
Right, you pop over there, sweetie, have a nap in the corner. We'll be back to get you at the end of the night.
Gently, gently, softly, softly.
Oh my God, I love it. I love it. Well, you know, we could talk on these topics all night, but is there anything else that you want to share with our viewers, just to any message or anything you would like them to know?
Just what I touched on before, that this alchemistic event is going to bring in a very special dynamic. And this, I think this is one of those moments you really need to listen to your heart. And if you feel that pull, and we all know what that pull feels like, if you feel that pull, then this is yours and you must take it. I mean, the one thing that we need to learn in this life is to listen to the heart. And this is an opportunity to do just that. So if this is yours, take it and come and let's make magic. It's going to be magic.
I love you, Jemmy.
Love you
I just,
too.
while you were talking, I just kept hearing this voice. It's always my guides in this ear, and it was, fall in love with your life.
Oh,
Just fall in love with your life. That's all we're here to do, really. And you know, my dear friend Angelina, she's my singing teacher, she said something similar to me the other day, that she'd got a message that literally your only purpose in life is to love yourself, is to wholeheartedly love yourself. And when you wholeheartedly love yourself, then you can't not be in love with the whole world. You can't not love everyone. And I mean, we're in such an accelerated time, and you know, this time is such a powerful moment on the planet and the history of the planet. And you know, we're coming back into that ability to tap into that oneness and really remember who we are. And I just keep being told the time is now, the time is now, the time is now. Remember who you are. And these are the times where, you know, when we can really do something in honoring for ourselves and connect to that love within, and even better to share it. When groups come together, it's so powerful for the whole collective anyway. So I just know we're opening such a powerful portal, and I could feel it from the moment it was seeded. It was like, you know, Colin and I had the chat, and we both knew it was going to be something super special. And what I love about this event is that I think all of us that are involved have in various ways become a little bit disillusioned with the whole spiritual industry. And I've spoken about this before, and I don't want to go on banging the drum, because everything has its place and everything has its moment. But even with Colum and I, we're kind of in this space. I mean, I've kind of always done this, you know, am I in alignment with my integrity? You know, what would be the right action to do here? And with every decision we've made about this event, we've sat together, or we've come back in conversation, and you know, he's rung me up and gone, I've been thinking about this element, you know, I think we need to drop the price, or I've been thinking about this and I think that doesn't feel quite right. And everything has been guided by us coming into our hearts and tuning in and going, what does this look like? It actually started, you know, the idea was actually going to be in a big hotel somewhere in London or in a big city, and it was going to be this huge big conference. And then we started thinking about what speakers we were going to get, and we both were like, that's not it, that's not the vision. It's not about getting, you know, these huge big names in, and it's not about making loads of money. It's not that. And it's completely alchemized itself into, I think, just the most warm, beautiful, and even the venue, like we're in Glastonbury in the heart chakra of the planet. We've got Abbey House, which is like coming home to this huge big like hearth fire, you know, like it's, and at that time of year, it's going to be just cooling, and it's going to be cozy, and it's going to be lovely, and we can all have cups of tea and chats in the, you know, and the gardens are stunning, and you can see over Glastonbury Abbey. And it's just, it's taken on a life of its own, and it's grown wings, and it's I just think of like Harry Potter magic. It's got that sparkle of magic in it. And yeah, I can't wait. I really can't wait. It's going to be so cool.
Let the magic begin. It is going to be magical. I can feel it already. I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this.
Me too, and I'm so excited to see you there, honey. I hope I get to see you before November then, though.
I'm sure.
I think we will. I think we will.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to remind everybody that I'm going to pop all the links to Jem and all her lovely, lovely work below, her blog and her videos and everything. So do subscribe to her channel, follow her. I'm hoping that soon she'll have some books of her own at some point. We're all choking at the bit for that. She's a busy lady though. And do send us your comments below too. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And have you had an experience of Kundalini awakening? Have you experienced Kundalini yoga? What are your thoughts about mantra? All of these things are so interesting. Even if you have any little tidbits to share, like we learn just as much from you guys as we do sharing here. So even if you know any of the science and the stuff like that, I love learning about all of that. So do let us know. Do interact. It's wonderful to share on here. But for now, I will also put links to where you can buy the tickets for Alchymystic below, and you do have a 50% discount until the 1st of September. So there's an early bird price. If you want that discount, you're welcome. And we hope to see you there. And Jem, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here, honey. And I made it through without laughing my head off and descending into a puddle of crying tears, laughter tears. But that was awesome. I feel really like shiny and new now.
Yay, me too. Thank you so much, Al. It's lovely to chat to you and lovely to share, and big hugs to everybody. Lots of love.
Lots of love, everyone.
Lots of love.